In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my top 10 favorite photos that I took in 2023, and I'm also going to go a little bit into the details of kind of the sporadic and irregular posting that's been taking place on this channel throughout this year, what's been going on in my life that's been contributing to that, and we'll also briefly go over my 2023 goals for photography and for this channel and how those went. But jumping right into it, let's not waste any time. At number 10 on my photos is this photo of a bull moose in Grand Teton National Park. And I'm going to try to only spend about 30 seconds on every photo because if I go any longer, this video is going to drag out way longer than it needs to be. But getting in with this moose, you know, this is nothing special in terms of a moose photo. Anyone who's been to Grand Teton and shot the moose there have probably got something similar to this. But this is really the first photo opportunity that I've had that's been really good with moose at all, ever. You know, nice big rack on this bull, got some fall colors in the background, got the Tetons in the background, some blurred sagebrush in the foreground, and he's coming right at me, looking right at me. And you can just see the detail there in the eyes, staring right at me, ears up. Just really the kind of shot I've always wanted of a moose. Like I said, nothing special, nothing too artistic, same moose shot that a lot of other people have, but now I finally have it, as opposed to having no moose photos that I'm really that happy with. So that is number 10. Coming in at number 9 is this photo from Arches National Park. I call this photo an arch through an arch. So what we're looking at here is one of the arches here. I think this is North Window Arch, is this ring here. And we're looking through North Window Arch at a different arch in the background. Like I said, taken in Arches National Park. This spring, I went on a road trip through all 5 national parks in Utah, and I didn't do a ton of shooting while there, but this is one of the photo shoots I did. Sunset and Arches. And this is also a photo that a lot of landscape photographers who have been to Arches have, much like the moose photo before, but I love it. It's a great composition. It's not an original composition. Like I said, I've seen this with other photographers before, but this is my take on it, and I'm really happy with how it came out, and it's one of my favorite landscape photos that I've gotten to date. So that is number 9. Number 8 here is once again not really that original of a photo, but it's one that I'm very happy with. This is a sunset over the lower falls and the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone here in Yellowstone National Park. This is a shot I've been looking for years. So for those of you that don't know, that haven't been watching the channel as long, when I started working out here in the Yellowstone area, I started at Canyon Village. I lived and worked at Canyon Village. I was 5 minutes from this view, literally where I slept every night. And so I got plenty of opportunities to shoot here, but for some reason I was never able to catch that perfect colorful sunset over the canyon. Every time I went out there to Artist Point and I set up and tried to get this shot, it just didn't pan out. The sunset didn't pan out. But finally this year I was in the area, I was looking at the clouds, and I'm like, you know what, this might shape into a beautiful sunset. So I got over to Artist Point, set up, and sure enough, it came out beautifully. The oranges, reds, purples, pinks in the clouds were amazing. The canyon always looks amazing, obviously. So yeah, this is the next photo on the list. Moving on now to my 7th favorite photo that I got this year. This is going to be a photo that I got in Jackson Hole this spring of a couple of bighorn rams. So this is pretty simple photo, 2 bighorn rams. This darker one that looks a little older, his horns are a little more developed over on the right, and then the lighter ram over here looks like a younger guy, just trudging through the snow here. I got really low and created some foreground blur with the snow up here, which I think adds a little bit of mystery and depth to the photo. You can see there's some snow in front of them, they're kind of in the midground, and then the blurred out background here. And kind of similar positioning on the legs. One is lighter, one is darker. I just kind of love how it came out artistically. Very simplistic white environment, simplistic foreground, simplistic background. The only thing in focus is the 2 rams kind of following each other in a line. So that is number 7. Next, we're getting into the top 6 photos. And these are the photos that I feel like I really knocked it out of the park on. You know, the other ones here, I like them, but I don't feel like they're anything special or anything that any other photographer doesn't have. These next 6 I feel like are kind of unique captures for the most part that I feel like are some of my best work yet. So getting into number 6 here, Crossing the Snake is what I call this photo. This is Grizzly 610 here, and these are her 3 yearling cubs crossing the Snake River. Now, if you've seen a lot of my videos from Yellowstone and the Tetons, you know that every single time 610 is in the area, I miss out on her. I have horrible luck with 610. She has evaded me time and time again, usually by like 5 or 10 minutes. I miss her. But this day, I didn't. And I'm really glad I didn't miss this encounter. Beautiful backlit fog, over the Snake River. Perfect kind of lighting conditions for this kind of shoot. And the bears came right down and crossed the river right in front of us, with that backlighting allowing for these really moody silhouettes of bears in the water with all this fog and steam around them. Just beautiful, beautiful scene. And the photos made themselves, to be honest, because the scene was just so beautiful. So very happy with this one. And this is number 6. Now moving into the top 5. Here at number 5, we have one that I took this August, almost kind of on a whim, I don't want to say, but it was like I was driving home and just saw the scene happening, jumped out, and just shot the photo. A very lucky thing I happened upon. And that is this photo of 4 pronghorn just outside of Gardner, Montana here. So 3 does, and then this would be a fawn from this year that's almost fully grown. Very simple scene. Nice dry grass background, dry grass foreground. I got a low angle laid down here to blur out that foreground and create that nice mystery around the hooves there. Nice golden lighting hitting them from the side here. And then, like I said, a simple dry grass background. Now moving into the top 4, you guys probably already have an idea what number 1 is if you've seen some of my other videos from this year. But I don't think you will know about these other 3. Actually, a few of these I don't think you've even seen yet on the channel. So excited to show you these. So number 4, this is kind of an environmental portrait of a grizzly bear that is nicknamed Snow. She lives here in Yellowstone. She frequents this burn area. This is kind of the habitat she lives in. And so I wanted to capture that. I didn't want to just get her out here in this kind of mess of logs. I wanted to show her environment, where she lives, where she makes her living. She feeds on the grasses and different plants that grow in this burn area. For those of you that don't know, to get into a little ecology here, when a fire comes through and burns an area, it actually creates great habitat for grizzly bears in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem. So this kind of tells the story of that. A bear is making use of an area that was burned years ago. And I tried to use logs on either side here, right here, and right here as kind of a natural framing, and then this log at the bottom to naturally frame as well. And I kind of create the photo that you see here. So very happy with this one. I like the story this tells of a bear in this habitat. Took this back in August, and this will be featured in the next wildlife photography vlog that I post here on the channel. So yeah, now moving into the top 3. This is one that again is an environmental portrait, and it's something that I'm very, very happy with. Different than anything else that I usually do, shot at 35 millimeters. And this won't be in a YouTube video. I didn't make a video of this. But anyways, let's take a look at the photo. This is the pika's kingdom. So this is an American pika in the North Cascades here. And he is out in his kingdom in the Cascades. Moving about in this talus slope here, and you can see these mountain slopes behind him. This was taken this autumn when I took a road trip through Washington, through all the national parks there. All I had was a 16 to 35 millimeter lens. And I wanted to create some wildlife photos with that, so it required me to get very close to these pika and get very creative with my compositions. And I was able to do that with this photo. I just love how you can see not only the pika in his environment of the talus slope, but also in his kind of greater environment of the Cascades here, with some of the Cascade Mountains in the background, these kind of alpine plants, and all the different fall colors on the mountainside. So yeah, this is number 3. Now moving into the top 2. Number 2 is another photo of Grizzly 610, actually from that same photo shoot that I already showed you of the crossing the snake photo. Very similar image here, as you can see, but I actually like this one better than the other one. I think it's much easier to tell that these are bears in the photo and that they're grizzly bears with that shoulder hump there on both 610 and the cub behind her. All 4 legs visible, which is a huge thing for this photo that does a lot for it. With silhouettes, here's a little tip for you. Always make sure all 4 legs of an animal are showing. If all 4 legs are not clearly visible, the silhouette is going to be a little bit confusing and a lot harder for the viewer to identify with. You need to have all 4 legs showing, and that's the case with both of these bears in this photo. All 4 legs are kind of outward and easy to immediately identify that these are 4 legs on a grizzly bear. And so I think that really worked for this photo, and then obviously the mood of the kind of fog and steam around them, the riverbank behind them, and the kind of soft white fog hanging over the river here just really makes the bears pop. And yeah, I love both images from the sequence that I included in this top 10, but this one ended up being my favorite. I like this one better. So that is number 2. And now number 1. You guys probably already know what this photo is. When I took this photo and I posted the vlog about it, I said it was my favorite photo I've ever taken, and it still is to this day. Before I show it, I want to thank all of you guys that have bought prints of this photo. You don't know how much you've done for me in this year. had some complications early in the year that I'm going to talk about later, which led to the sporadic posting on this channel. And if I hadn't had the money from the print sales of this photo, I would have been in kind of a bad situation for sure. Wouldn't have been in the situation that I want to be in financially. And you guys really helped with that. So thank you so much if you bought prints of this. Anyways, let's get into number one. It's a photo that I call Long Live the Queen of Grizzly 399 and her new Cub of the Year on the very day that they emerged from the den. I love this photo just because I think it's one of my better captures. I love the foreground blur up here, the background blur behind her, and then just her and the cub are sharp. I love the poses on the bears. You've got 399 here looking into the woods with those long sharp claws, very visible, ready to defend her cub, and then the cub kind of pawing at her side, looking up at her, begging for attention. It's just that perfect interaction that you want to capture between a mom and a cub. But besides that, the moment that this photo was taken is just a really special moment for those of us that photograph wildlife here in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem. So Grizzly 399 is our most famous bear that we have here. She's beloved by everyone that shoots in this area. She's 27 years old now. The average lifespan for a grizzly bear in this ecosystem is only 20 to 25 years. So we weren't even sure that she would come out of the den at all. We for all we knew, she might die. I mean, she's past that age. And we thought if she did come out of the den, she probably wouldn't have another cub. She's far past reproductive age. Most bears stop reproducing at around 20 years old. And on the day this photo was taken, this was the day that she emerged from the den with a new cub. And we not only realized that 399 was alive, we realized that she had a new cub. And on top of that, that she had now set the record for the oldest wild grizzly bear ever recorded to produce a cub. So it was just a really monumental day for those of us that photograph bears and love to follow the bears and watch the bears here in the GYE. And I was able to capture a photo of that historic moment that not only I really love, but that I feel like is artistically and from just a photographer's standpoint, the best photo that I've ever taken. So that's why this photo is number one and why it means so much to me. And those are my top 10 favorite photos that I took in 2023. Wow, that was a lot to go through. I'm sorry for talking so fast, guys, but I had a lot of information I wanted to get out about all of these photos. Now let's kind of move into the second part of this video, and I'll try to make this a little more brief because this has already dragged out longer than I wanted it to. Why was I so sporadic with my posts this year, and what has kind of been happening behind the scenes? So of these 8 goals that I started this year out with, only 4 of them got done. I was just not as active as I wanted to be with this channel or with my photography, and I just wasn't able to get done everything that I'd hoped to do. I really had plans and I was on track for a while to get all this kind of stuff done, but it all just kind of fell apart due to outstanding circumstances. And that's what we're going to talk about. Before I launch into the story, I do want to say that I am absolutely not saying this as an attention seeker or to be like, oh, poor me, feel bad for me. None of that. I'm just trying to provide a little bit of clarity for those of you that are wondering what's been going on with the channel and why I haven't posted as much in 2023. I know I don't have to, but I genuinely want to. You guys support me, and your views and your comments and the purchases you make mean so much to me and help me with what I'm trying to do here and to grow my photography and grow this into a career. You guys are what drives that. And so I want to be clear with you guys. I want you guys to know what's been going on with the channel and the future of the videos that you love so much, because you guys support me and you guys keep this going. And so like I said, I know I don't have to give all these details or anything, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I do want to give you some detail. I genuinely do. So anyways, with all of that said, let's jump into it. So as you guys know, back at the end of May, I was supposed to be leaving to go to Alaska, and I was going to do some videos on that. I was going to be sailing with Renegade ADV. Check out his channel here. Great guy. Nick is a great guy. I was going to be sailing with him around Southeast Alaska and doing some wildlife photography. And my long-term girlfriend was supposed to be coming with me on that trip. Unfortunately, at the start of May, she ended up getting into a car crash and broke her collarbone. Now at the time, that was kind of all that came of it, just the crash. The truck was totaled, unfortunately, but you know, injuries weren't too bad, all things considered. A broken collarbone was all. Unfortunately, a few weeks after that, things started to get more complicated. She ended up having some seizures, and we ended up going to the ER after like 24 hours in the ER, and you know, every test in the book and every scan in the book, they determined that there wasn't any root cause, and so they kind of deemed that she now has some form of epilepsy. And at that time, her license was suspended for a year from her most recent seizure. And she also, in those seizures, re-injured her collarbone. So her collarbone was mostly healed now, and we were going to be able to go to Alaska. Unfortunately, when she had that seizure right before we left for Alaska, it re-broke the collarbone. So we ended up having to cancel Alaska entirely. Nick still went on the trip. He's got footage from that. He'll be posting that footage. Like I said, please check out his channel down below. He's a great guy, and he gave us the opportunity of a lifetime. We didn't end up being able to actually go with that, so check out his videos of that, since I won't be putting out any videos from Alaska from that trip. But yeah, so we had to cancel that. We didn't end up being able to go, and there was a whole slew of now problems that we had to deal with. She couldn't drive at all, so I have to do all the driving now until she's passes that year mark later in 2024. On top of that, she had to have surgery to repair her collarbone now because of the kind of way the seizure had broken it. And she now had to start on these seizure medications, which have a laundry list of adverse side effects, some of which she's had to deal with. So like I said, I don't want to get too much into the weeds with details and all of that kind of stuff. And I apologize if that was a little convoluted. I tried to explain that as clearly as I could, but it was kind of a complicated array of disasters that kept continuing to happen and kind of derailed everything. But the point is, as you can all imagine, this took quite a toll on both of us, and I had to shift my focus to some other things and step up in other ways to help out. And so that took away from time that I could spend working on the photography side of things and the channel. And so long story short, that is why this channel has been as sporadic and as inactive as it's been this year. I really wanted to get out more videos. I really wanted to get out there to shoot more. And I do still have some content from this year that I filmed that is going to be coming out in 2024 that I'm really excited about. But unfortunately, with everything that kind of went wrong in spring of 2023, I just didn't have the opportunity to work on everything in the way that I really wanted to. So yeah. Anyways, wanted to give you guys a little bit of clarity on that, and I appreciate your patience with me on this channel. I appreciate all of you that are sticking around and loyally waiting for that next video. I promise I'll have a new vlog out soon. It's just going to take a little bit of time as we're still dealing with some of those issues. But I do really want to get back and really dive in and create the best content that I can in 2024, and I plan on doing that. But until then, I've talked you guys to death at this point. This video dragged on way longer than I hoped it would. Thank you all for sticking around. If you watched through the whole video, comment below and let me know which of these photos was your favorite. Thank you so much for your patience in 2023 with the lack of uploads. And, you guys are just so supportive and so great. We really do just have a great community of viewers on here, and it's something that makes me so happy to see each and every time I upload. So thank you guys for your support throughout 2023. That's about all I have for this video. Look out for my 2024 goals video, which will be coming out in the next few days. And have a wonderful, happy new year. I hope your 2023 was a little less chaotic than mine. But either way, I can't complain that much. It's been, besides the few disasters that kind of happened early in the year, it's been a wonderful year, and I've gotten some incredible encounters and experiences with animals that I am so lucky to have had. That's about all, guys. Thanks so much for following along. I hope you've had a wonderful 2023. Happy New Year, and I will see you all in the next video.